or good morning, wherever you are, whichever part of the world you may be. Welcome to a late evening edition of Shoutout Friday. As always, I endeavor on Fridays to greet, show appreciation, love to not just my bloodline family, but to the family of subscribers, viewers, and followers. I want to thank you immensely because it's because of you I am doing what I'm doing. Yeah? How are you doing this evening on my end here in the state of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique? How are you doing? Nighttime or daytime? How has your day been? Yeah? Despite whatever challenge or challenges you are going through, I sincerely hope that your day was a productive one. And I hope that the weekend, by extension, will be an equally productive one. Welcome, Brother Jason. Welcome, Brother Jason, man. What's up with you? What's up with you? Well, we've been having some rain for the last few days. Some just fell there. Good evening, sister. Hey, Sister Sharon, how are you? How is the weather like on your end, Jason? And Sister Sharon, how is the weather like on both your end? Yeah, as I've been saying, we've been having some rain and thing here. Just had some there. It has been intermittent. We're transitioning into the dry season. And as you and I know, dry season means less of rain, less of potable water, but it is what it is. It's two seasons we have there, a wet and a dry season. So one has to always be prepared. Hot sun so far, but I know you're making it. A man as you, I know you will make it. Yep. I know you will make it. Yep. Hey, sister, you say the weather is good? Wow. No complaint these days, man. I guess spring is in the air. You know, you would have some highs and lows before you get to the highs. That will continue so for a few months and then, again back to the old grind. It's just the circle of life and living. Anyway, I welcome each and every one of you. Yes, whether you are in South Africa, the Caribbean, South America, North America. I want to say hello to my friend there in Kenya. I think they are 7 hours ahead. To my friend in India, those in South America. Yes, welcome to my life here. Um, it was a busy day for me, I must say. Yes, I had some, work to be done and such. I was just up and down. Hence the reason why I'm just doing this live. I always prefer to do it early in the morning, but a little deviation from the norm wouldn't hurt. Yeah. So again, as I say, the day was a busy one. I think in terms of activity here today, and I believe it's ongoing, we see that the carnage was closed off to vehicular traffic as a result of the opening of the new police headquarters on the carnage. Those of you that are familiar with the carnage, and I know that is the case of with you, Jason, and my sister, Sharon, you you will be familiar, and you are familiar with the old cable and wireless building. Well, it has changed hand in terms of ownership. It was refurbished, and it's now the headquarters of the Royal Grenada Police Force. Right now, they're having an opening ceremony, with all the trimming, celebration, music, etc. So that section of the road from the fire station is closed off, I guess, until that would have been completed. Um, I don't know. My opinion is that I figure on a day like today, Friday, a busy day like today, they could have left it for Sunday, and then it's Monday, But again, it's just my opinion. I don't know what you all think. That is a busy roadway, one of the busiest roadways on the Carnage. And as such, it's more challenges now for the business houses and by extension, motor vehicle owners and drivers plying that route. I welcome too the fact that the RGPF headquarters has moved from um, its position on Fort George, yes, and it has been there for quite a number of years. I think that augurs well for the future. Um, the fort as it is, is being refurbished, renovation, I can see in terms of the roofing, etc. And I'm quite sure it would lend to our tourism product. Um, I believe it will be used solely for as attraction, tourist attraction, historic site. Yes, that is welcome. I probably would have um, ensured that the head office, the headquarters of the police service was at a sort of a remote location, remote in the sense that they didn't have any other buildings and so immediately around. They had ample spacing for security purposes, etc. And also for the fleet of vehicles, because the challenge I've noticed, even from the time the word came out and we saw work being done on the carnage, is the fact that we would have a lot of traffic congestion on that section there. And directly opposite on the seaside, you're seeing a lot of the related maybe workers and vehicles parked up on that side. Soon time, mark my words, you will see that area there with signs that says reserve, you know, in addition to the fact that you're currently seeing vehicles parked right in front of the new headquarters. Just my opinion, that's my observation. You know, it's going to create traffic problems on the carnage. Yep. Share your ideas, your thoughts on what it is I just said. What do you think? Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's just my idea. It's my opinion. Yeah. I depend on you, viewers, to comment. I use the comments as a way of gauging where I'm at in terms of trying to provide quality content to you. Yes, I depend on you to continue this journey by way of creating quality content. Yeah. Um, as always, I try to give you a quote. And in addition to that, I want today to look at this day in history. This day in history. But let me first um, share with you a quote. And I took this quote from in my research on Google. So for today, my quote of inspiration says, the best way to predict the future is to create it. The best way to predict the future is to create it. I leave it up to each and every one of you to share your thoughts on this quote, what it means to you, or what you think it means. The best way to predict the future is to create it. I firmly believe in that. Yes. as sensible human beings, rational beings, I think, it's incumbent upon each and every one of us, to look in terms of the future, always think in terms of the future. But in so doing, one must always remember from whence they come or from whence they came. It helps to keep you grounded. Yes? Think about it. As a young man, a little boy growing up, my mom, a very stern lady, I must say. My sister here can attest to that. She ensured that when we had school holidays, that we went to the country, quote unquote, to be with our foreparents, grandmother, and other family members, cousins, etc. So if today, Friday, school closed, by tomorrow morning, we will be headed up, and in those days, to Mama Can. Mama Can is a village in the parish of St. Andrews. St. Andrew being the largest parish in the state of Carriacou, in the state of Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique, sorry. Yep, we would stay up there for the entire duration of our school holiday, only returning in time for the commencement of school. So if school started Monday, Sunday, those of you who were familiar and are familiar with the bus suite Roses, and there were quite a number of other buses. Yeah, we came down on that bus Sundays. You could have relied on these buses, those wooden buses, to take you to and fro. Yeah, so we come down Sunday and prepare ourselves for school Monday. We had absolutely no time for the town where I grew up. That helped me to be the person that I am today, as well as my sisters, other siblings, other cousins, etc. It kept us grounded. Yes? No time. We had no time for the city. I don't know what it was like with you, whether here, whether abroad. Share your thoughts. Yes? Let us know what it was like for you growing up. Yeah, it's different from person to person, from places to places. Yeah, but that is what helped to mold and shape me at a tender age. Hi, Nerissa. Sharon is online. Sharon is online. You're correct. Those were nice days. Those were definitely nice days. You sit down sometimes and you wonder if those days would ever come back. I don't think they would ever come back. Yeah. The hope, however, is that the parents could rein in a bit more and take charge of the kids at a tender age. Yes, you don't want them to reach the teenage years. For some of those children, teenage years can be very, very disruptive. Yeah, and it's usually more difficult to maintain control of your kids. I'm not saying it can be done, yes, but it's always better to start at a tender age. It starts at the home. It starts in the home. And in those days, I remember too, we had a community from which we could tap into, a family around us, whether it was our bloodline relatives, our neighbors, other friends that looked out for one another. Yes? If you were to do something, they had the authority to scold you, maybe slap you, and on top of that, report to your parents. Your parents will even go so far by beating you sometimes in their presence. It's different now. Oh, yes, Nerissa. Beside Miss Daphne, wish you be correct. Correct. Hey, sis, Nerissa is saying hello. Yes, those were really, really good times. Yeah. And as I say, it starts with in the home. It all starts in the home. We have to ensure that we not just talk, but act, because action speaks louder than words. We are the examples by which our kids, and by extension, sometimes on the outside, people look at you, look at how your deportment, yes, look at how you go about yourselves, conduct yourselves, and they try to emulate that. Yep. So when you think nobody is watching, there is always someone watching you. Yes, exactly, exactly. I remember that. Yes, I remember that, Marissa. I sincerely remember that. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Yes, folks. If anything I'm saying here in any way relates to you, feel free to share, like, comment, and please subscribe. Yes, I need you to help me get to 500 subscribers on or before the first half of this year. I cannot do it. I will not be able to do it without you. So at this point in time, I want to share with you um, a couple of things that happened on this day, the 28th of March, 2025. And by the way, folks, just imagine, we started March just a few days ago. March is marching on. Yes? Is it that we're getting older? And I can't help but always say, I don't recall, certainly when I was in my youth or younger, or maybe without responsibility, observing or paying particular attention to how fast times was passing by. Yeah? I believe with responsibility, you see a lot of these things. You see much more of these things. But it is what it is. Again, it's just a fact of life. Yes? Once a man, twice a child. And again, you're here today, gone tomorrow. Yes? Make the most of it. Make the most of it. Yeah? So yes, again, I did some research on Google, and I don't know if any of you heard about Constantinople. Constantinople. Yes? On this day, many, many years ago, Constantinople was renamed Istanbul. And Istanbul is the capital of Turkey. Oh, it's the Turkish city. Sorry. Ankara is the capital. I think it's Greece, and Istanbul is Turkey. Yes. So it was renamed Istanbul on this day in the year 1930. Yep. I'm looking for another one here that I want to share with you. Yes, Nerissa, time is slowly marching on. Soon Christmas will be here again. Yes, it's just a vicious cycle. It's just a vicious cycle. I'm just looking for on this day. On this day as well, in 1979, at 4 a.m., an automatic valve was mistakenly closed at the 3 Mile Island nuclear power plant near Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, culminating in radioactive leakage. Just two of the many things that occurred on this day, um, March the 28th, many, many years ago. Yes, there are much more, but I thought I just wanted to share just a couple of things too. Folks, separate and apart from that, I want to discuss a few issues, things that I'm seeing on a daily basis as I move around, drive around this beautiful island of ours. Yep. So yesterday I was going through Bottom Woburn. Bottom Woburn is now um, the route that one has to take, or at least let me say one of the routes one has to take to get through to the east side, simply because that section of road from the cliff headed back to Woodlands has been closed for vehicular traffic as they try to do some widening of that narrow section of road. So ahead of me was a truck. I have some footage of the truck, but I didn't want to post it up because I would have had to. I really wanted to remove the number. Yes, I didn't want to create any problem, but I thought I just wanted to discuss it. I remember many years ago, and I guess we are a very reactive society, very, very reactive society. There was some issue with trucks overloading the sections, the back sections where they would carry, whether it's goods, services, soil, gravel, sand. And this truck was filled to overflowing, filled above the threshold that it has. And the threshold I'm referring to is on the sides had some sort of a barricades, metal barricades, yes, around it with boulders and dirt. I was directly behind. Folks, are we going to wait until something happens before we arrest and address this situation again? These trucks ought to be made aware that they are supposed to carry nothing over the threshold in terms of the level that they can contain safely. Additionally, There ought to be a covering. Why aren't there no covering? Time and time again, you pass on the road, spillage from gravel, sand, and things are just happening willy-nilly. Willy-nilly. I'm not here to blame anybody, but these are issues that is affecting me, and I'm quite sure affecting other road users, and we need to speak about it. Another day I was going down Morris Bishop Highway, and we had a open back truck bursting on its sides with lumber moving slowly. Another accident waiting to happen. We need to address these issues because something serious can happen. And it can be fatal. Yeah? Let us look out for one another. Let us be our brother's keeper, in other words. Yeah? The road is becoming more and more congested. I mean, I go through. Hi, Jacob. Hi, Jacob01. Hi, Jacob. How are you? Welcome to this here Shout Out Friday Live. Just addressing a few issues here in the state of Grenada. Yes, feel free to comment, share, like, and subscribe. Yeah, the road is becoming overcrowded. The main roads, the secondary roads, congested. Yeah, you see, fellas too, and I'm not against anybody trying to earn a livelihood, but we need to do it the right way. I despise and dislike obstructions on the road. I do not like it. Grandans Valley, Montu, guys walking, doing work on the side of the road, obstructing traffic. Yes, we have persons just parking up indiscriminately on both the left hand side, right hand side. Yes, and before you could say something, persons getting angry. You know, it makes you wonder when, you know, sometimes if the shoe is on the other side, is on the other foot, what is they thinking? What is they thinking? These are things we need to address. We need to address that. Yes. I'm not against people having some form of transport because we know the situation here with the transportation system. We do not have a public transportation system. We have a private transportation system. And once you see 6, 7 o'clock, because it's private, guys decide, well, you know, I'm not running again, you know, and who could blame them? Who could blame them? So that is fueling the drive by all and sundry to get their private vehicle, their own vehicles. But where are they parking it? Some of them, they have no places to park their vehicles. And it's creating untold congestion. Another issue I notice is that, and I oftentimes wonder, what is the role of the traffic warden? What is the role of the traffic warden? Many a times I passed on down Sugar Mill roundabout, going headed towards, let's say, Wall Street. And right there on the left hand side, adjacent to CK Super Value, you see sometimes 2, 3 traffic wardens and a policeman. Traffic tight, gridlock on that side, and they're standing there. Shouldn't they be able, shouldn't they be trying to control the traffic, ensure that there's a smooth flow? Yes, at times you have to leave it up to the owners and drivers of vehicles to make sound decisions, in terms of their driving. But you have those, sometimes that would be impatient, wants to do what they want. I urge the traffic wardens to be more proactive, even the police, whether it's man or woman on that location, they especially to be more proactive. Yep. So a few years ago, we saw the reinstallation of traffic lights with cameras. Folks, are these cameras in use? Will they be put in use? I think the government is losing valuable revenue. I have seen and continue to see fellas just running the lights, putting their lives and the lives of other road users, vehicle owners and drivers at stake. It's time that these cameras be put to use. I may become a culprit of it as well, but I'm speaking and urging the authorities to put things in place so as to ensure that the cameras that were installed on the various traffic lights be utilized, be operational. So I just want to go back to the bus owners and drivers, and more importantly, the associations, the bus associations. Oftentimes, we hear the cry of the associations, the bus owners and drivers, when fuel prices go up. They're clamoring for increase in fees. What are you all doing? What is the association doing to ensure that the masses have reliable, efficient transportation system? Why can't the bus association, the relevant bus association, say, look, Lescott, Jane, and Harry, this Friday, sorry, you can run from 6 to about 10 in the night. We could rotate it the next Friday and have others join in. If and only if we have that sort of a thinking, and people can rely and look forward to this type of service, I'm quite sure more people will be out. It may stem the tide too of the purchasing, of private vehicles. Think about it. I heard sometime back, it may have been last year, they talk about security. I understand that. And I think if they are serious about doing that, I'm quite sure the relevant authorities, the security services, the police, the powers that be, will be only too willing and ready to assist. Think about it, bus associations. your survival depends upon it. Well, at last count, I think we have over 70,000 vehicles in this country. Do you think it's going to get better? Do you foresee it getting better anytime soon? I doubt it. I doubt it. On morning times, just to get out from by me here from Marianne and to connect with Calivini Main Road, one has to ensure that they leave very early. By 7:30, quarter to 8, it's difficult to get into the traffic on the main road there. Yeah? And not buses, quite a number of private vehicles. Quite a number of private vehicles. Just think about it. Give thought to it. Encourage your association members. Have meetings to discuss that. At late nights, it's difficult. It's difficult to get transportation. Talk about Sundays, public holidays. The only time you can possibly get a reliable service is when we have major events. For example, Carnival, Christmas. And one of the things you oftentimes see too is that during those times they're scalping. Some of them, they want to charge you more than what the fare normally is. Shouldn't the fare be standardized, whether it's night or day? I've heard the same with the taxi men as well. Yeah. I'm not against anyone as far as the livelihood is concerned. But these are issues I observe, I have experienced, and I'm quite sure many of you in this beautiful island has experienced. And by the way, so you are in the diaspora, wherever you are, how is it like in your country, in your state? Yeah, what is the situation like? There's another issue I want to just touch on. And I'm subject to correction here. I think in 2023, I think it was 2023, somewhere at the ending of 2023, meeting, a meeting was held to discuss the relocation of the boats berthing along the carnage. I think invitation was sent out to the owners, operators, and stakeholders. I don't know if any decision was arrived at, but I'm yet to hear anything about it. Can somebody shed light on that? What was the outcome? What was said? What are the plans? What is the intention? Yep. We look at the area walking along the carnage, signs of deterioration, wear and tear, yep, caused by not so much the trawlers, the small fishing trawlers, but I know they had this metal boat. I think it was a Lexus that oftentimes would put down that metal section so as vehicle to drive up. And if you observe on that section near to Hubbard's, it has done serious damage to that defense wall on that section. I'm not seeing it there lately. I don't know if they were encouraged to go to the CARICOM jetty. I think it's the CARICOM jetty, and I'm subject to correction. But it would be nice to hear what the decision, what was what eventually happened. What plans are in place to safely relocate these boats? I'm just there looking at my notes there because once they come to mind, I would write them down. Yes, folks. So these were a few of the little the things that I made note of. Oh yes, and by way of the traffic situation too, I must mention Molineux. That section of road from Mount Morris headed towards that newly built throughway, or sort of a bridge. That entire section on the left hand side, right up to where the new piece of road starts, is always lined with vehicle, creating serious obstruction. And I'm quite sure accidents. You have vehicles coming from both directions, from up on the west and those coming from the south, St. George, the city, etc. Sometimes there isn't even a space that, even if you're on the sides of obstruction, that you could safely pull into, so as to ensure the smooth flow of traffic on the opposite side, of vehicles on the opposite side. Serious gridlock. Serious gridlock. Folks, let us be our brother's keepers again. Let us strive to drive with caution. Be patient. Yep. Sometimes you may have to give up your rights so as to ensure that we are all safe on our nation's roads. I did some videos on areas around the country with land slippage, and especially on the western side. They seem to have been brought more to light or brought on by the passage of burial. Yep. And in most instances, it has made the roadways narrow. Folks, be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for these locations. Always try to bear in mind. Yes. Let us all take time while driving on our nation's road. Yes. It is oftentimes said that If you can drive in Grenada, you can drive anywhere in the world. I am a firm believer of that. I am a firm believer of that. Welcome each and everyone once again. Thank you for joining me on this Shout Out Friday Live. Wherever you are, whether it's daytime, nighttime, morning time, thank you for joining the live. Let me also mention the fact that I saw in the news sometime during the course of the morning, during the course of the day, a 7.7 magnitude earthquake, hitting Myanmar. I'm trying to remember the name prior to Myanmar. It may come to mind afterwards. Our hearts, my heart goes out to the people of Myanmar, to the people of Thailand, to the people of China. Yeah. Hey, Blasian boy. I'm not a follower, but I must say I'm an admirer of you and your content, that which you are trying to create, not just for yourself, but for others. I saw you speaking about the fact that you ran at least down the stairs, 20 flights of stairs you forgot, left behind, passport, wallet, everything, so as to be safe. I am happy that you are safe. It's so sad to hear of the situation of many other families, Lord God. Let us keep them in our prayers. Yeah. Hey, Programmer 16. Hi, how are you? Welcome to the live here, man. It has been a while. Yep. How is things on your side? How is things on your side? Yeah, I'm just talking about that earthquake there, man. That earthquake there. Again, it's rather sad, rather unfortunate. Whatever aid I heard in the news also, that the authorities in Myanmar are asking for help. Hey, Pro Gamer 16, you say when you're playing for tonight, I'm not into the game playing. I'm more of a content creator. Yeah. And it took me a while to understand when you said Fortnite. My significant other had to bring it to my attention that it was a game. So sorry there, but thank you for joining this live. I hope maybe one day, maybe later, to come on. And Programmer, is that your handle? Is that your handle there? So much so that I can go on TikTok and locate you with that handle. If not, share your handle with me so that I can go on and see what it's like to be a gamer. I oftentimes see a lot of persons, playing games and what have you. Again, as I say, it's not my cup of tea, but, I could definitely go on and see what it is all about. Yeah, folks, wherever you are, keep the people of Burma. The name was Burma before it changed to Myanmar. Yes, keep the people of Burma, Myanmar in your prayers. The people of, I think it's Indonesia, yes, China, and those who were affected by this forceful 7.7 magnitude earthquake. Oh, you said you was playing basketball. Oh, earlier. Oh, okay. I And not too long came in. Not too long came in. Was out for a bit there. Uh, Attended a memorial service there for a friend of my significant other there. That lives abroad is somebody that the person died abroad and they had a memorial service there. So we went and, to show our respects, so to speak. Thereafter, went to the barber and I just came back. Usually, as I say, I would do my shout out Friday earlier, but I just didn't want the day to finish and that wasn't done. Programmer, are you saying that 2v2 is your handle on TikTok? I'm trying to understand. 2v2? What is 2v2? 2 versus 2? I'm trying to understand it. Sorry about that. Hi, Miss Duncan. Hi, Miss Duncan. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this live. How are you doing? How is the weather on your end? Thank you for joining this live. Thank you for joining this live. I'm just there on Fridays. As I say, I usually do what I refer to as a shout out live. And basically, what shout out live entails is me reaching out, showing appreciation, showing love to all my family members, whether they are bloodline or not. Yes, my subscribers, my viewers, my followers, wherever they are, show them out. Thank you for joining this live. I'm so happy that you can join this live. How have you been? How are you doing? Yes, programmer, 2 versus 2. Yeah, so I guess the challenge as far as the earthquake and so is to get amongst the rubber in an attempt to save lives. And time is critical. Time is also critical during those times. The availability of detectors, heavy equipment, etc., is fundamental as well too. You know, much needed resources, medical supplies, etc. Yeah. Additionally, we know that after not hurricanes, after earthquakes, there is a period of tremors, and quite possibly there may be another quake in the making. Yes, let us all hope and pray that that does not happen, and that the authorities in these areas where that 7.7 magnitude earthquake shock would be given the chance to dig amongst the rubble with the hope that they'll be able to locate lives. I have never experienced a magnitude, any significant magnitude earthquake, and I hope not. And I'm quite sure none of us hope not. Yes, I have felt little tremors here a few times. I would be in the house and sit down and just, you know, get this sort of a shaking, and we don't know what is causing it. Yeah. You're hearing a lot of talks about the extraction of oil and plates shifting, etc., etc., etc. We just have to hope and pray because these are things we have absolutely no control of. We know there's a great one and he's in control. Yes? So I guess the hope is that countries with much needed resources, maybe equipment, etc., can lend a hand to Myanmar and to the other countries to aid them in their quest. And you see me hesitating here, because just the thought of it alone, give me chills. To aid in their quest to search for survivors amongst the rubble. In one of the pictures and the news, I saw a very tall structure, several stories high, that was under construction, came down like a stack of cards. As a stack of cards. That is the power of nature. That is the power of nature. We have to be thankful wherever we are for small mercies. Always be thankful. Folks, as I wind down, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for taking time out, wherever you may be, whatever time, day, night, morning, whatever your situation is, for joining me on this journey. Again, I consider each and every one of you as family. I hope that you enjoy the rest of Friday, and for some of you, it may be already Saturday, and by extension, the weekend, and hope that you'll be able to get some rest, respite, and a bit of relaxation so as to help you prepare for the week ahead. Thank you, each and every one of you. Continue to like, share, follow, and subscribe. And moreover, comment. Thank you once again. Good evening, good night, good morning. Goodbye.